Hello everybody, welcome back to World of Tanks with mrjakemole. Today we will be taking a look at the M4A3E2 Sherman Jumbo. Now the Sherman Jumbo is quite a unique tier 6 medium tank in that it has some very decent frontal armor. If you're playing the Jumbo stock, you'll be shocked to know that its turret actually has more armor than a Tiger 1 heavy tank at tier 7. Now I'm playing this thing fully upgraded, which is my preferred style of play. I know a lot of people generally like to have play the Jumbo with the stock turret, with the derp gun, and that's a good way to play. I've played it before. I never really do all that good with it. The version that I'm playing basically has the M4A3E2 gun. Speaking of which, is right there. The M4A3E2 gun. And it actually does have a very decent penetration to damage ratio. Basically, if I can... There we go, 115 damage, 128 penetration. Pretty decent. Which basically means you can penetrate a lot of the things your tier. Probably not so much the heavies unless you aim for weak spots. It does have somewhat decent accuracy, but overall the thing that makes this thing decent is its armor. You can pretty much bounce a lot of shots if you angle right, and that's the thing, you have to angle correctly. There's the Cromwell tier 6 British medium. I do have... Oh, and that's something I did not want to see. Please move back. Please move back. There we go. I'm going to use the KV3 as sort of cover. Trying to poke forward so I can actually see this Cromwell, which I can't. I'm probably actually going to turn around and try and go down this lower part just so I can attack this Cromwell without being shot at by the Tiger. This Tiger 1's not looking so clever. Neither does the T1 Heavy. Moving to better positions is really what medium tanks are all about. Dang, I didn't get any kills. Ooh! ARL-44. He's probably gonna die.
Enemy armor is damaged.
There we go. Man, he just rocketed down the hill. Not exactly sure what he was trying to pull, but we're now pushing around the hill. There's a Panzer IV-S, which it basically means it has the Shalom turret, which is a prototype night vision turret developed by the Germans in World War II. It was originally meant to be on the Panthers, but the Panzer IV-S is basically a design that has the Shalom turret on the Panzer IV, which at the time was probably not a good idea, considering that it was being outclassed at around that time by better medium tanks. But it is a strong turret.
Enemy armor is
But it is a Panzer IV.
penetration. The gunner is dead. We're trying to cover for him.
Now I backed off because of the fact that I am on low health. And if I was hit again, it would probably not be good. Panzer IVS is actually quite good when it's hull down, much like the Jumbo and the Lurvert, like I made a video on earlier. Come on, there we go.
Critical hit.
Oh, of course it doesn't hit. Why is my gun... Oh, it's because my gunner is wounded.
Got
I
him.
was going to say, why is the aiming reticle not going down? Duh, my gunner's dead. We are pretty much winning right now, 12-8. They have an AT-8, an E-25, and a Jagdpanzer IV, which was last spotted over here. Panzer IV, Jagdpanzer IV, aka the Flat Panzer, is all that's left. Oh!
Critical hit.
Ah.
This vehicle is hacked.
Yeah. I actually did own the Flat Panzer. If you'd like to see a review on that, I have some choice words to say about it. It's quite an interesting tank, although it's not all that good. But that is game 15-9. I did get a kill that time, which is, you know, average. Because it is ×5, I'm getting 2,970 XP with 12,788 credits and a third-class mastery badge. Very decent, very nice. Did some pretty good damage, considering. The Sherman Jumbo was developed shortly before the end of the war. It was created. They were actually shipped to Europe, but they never saw action because the war had ended. Basically, it was developed as an assault Sherman. You know, they realized that the Sherman was horribly, horribly outclassed and really did need an upgrade in terms of its armor. So they added tons of armor to the front. It actually has 101 millimeters of penetration in the front, 76 on the side, and 38 in the rear, which makes this thing quite impressive when you compare it to something, oh, I don't know, like the 3001D, which is a very similar tank of its tier, and the 3001P. So it does have a lot of good armor. Both of these have around 60 to 75 frontal armor. This has 101. Very, very nice. I believe the only thing that is close in the tech tree... I'm going to actually check something. Wow. The Sherman Jumbo has more frontal hull armor than the Tiger 1 heavy tank at tier 7. This is a tier 6 medium with more armor. That is surprising. That is really, really, really good armor, and it is sloped too. That's the thing. The Tiger has straight flat armor. This is sloped, which means ballistically it probably even has more effective armor. That's really nice. Sherman Jumbo, do I recommend it? Heck yes. It's definitely a breath of fresh air coming from the M4 Sherman and the M3 Lee. Not saying anything bad against the M4, but it's just a very average tank, the M4, and this actually has something that that's very, very good about it, that most tier 6 mediums don't have. Now, when you get it, it does have this insane turret. with 152 millimeters in the front, side, and rear. For tier 6. Kinda slow traverse speed, turret traverse, meh view range, but it can only have the M1A1 gun and the M3 105mm gun. Meanwhile, with this upgraded turret, it can have the M1A2 gun, which has an average damage of 86 to 104 damage and 96 to 160 penetration. Very, very nice tank for tier 6. In fact, I'm almost at the point where I'm actually going to research the T29 and the T20, and I've only had this tank for a few months, and I don't even have a premium account. Just saying, it's definitely a tank you should consider buying for sure. It's really, really decent. It's really nice. It does have its flaws. While it does have the same speed as an M4 Sherman, it isn't fast. And something that's really comparable is the E8, which basically is kind of the opposite of this. Basically, they upgraded the engine and upgraded the gun, so it has a faster gun, it has a better gun and faster tank overall, while the Jumbo is slower and has more armor. So it really does depend on your playstyle which tank you should probably get. And that's really one of the things about tanks and World of Tanks, is it really does depend on you. If you're the kind of guy like me who likes to kind of carry but at the same time likes to stay back and be a more supportive role, then this is the tank for you. But if you like to go guns blazing while also being a sniper, the E8 is probably more for you. This thing allows you to take a few hits, and it allows you to reassess the situation a lot better than the E8. You know, with the E2 you can bounce a lot of shots, which allows you to actually respond a bit easier. Well, the E8, you have to respond like that. While this one, you just have to use your armor and gun. Like I said, it just depends on your playstyle. It's a very versatile tank. The M4 Sherman overall is just a very versatile tank. So yeah, that's the M4A3E2 Sherman Jumbo Tier 6 American medium tank. I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment below if you want to see more of my tanks. I have a ton of tanks, I really do. I've got the Jumbo, the T67, the Light Mark VIC, the 3001D, the 3001P, the Lurver, the Stug 3G, the Yak Panther, M5A1 Stuart, and the Type 1 Chi-Hei. So if you want to see any of those or their earlier incarnations, please comment. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and as always, angle your armor, drive safe, and assess your situations. That's really some of the things that you really need to do in World of Tanks. It's kind of simple, but that's really what you need to do if you want to succeed, is just assess your situations, look at your map, angle your tank, and use your tank to the best of its abilities. Use its strengths and its weaknesses. For example, the Sherman Jumbo, strength is armor, strength is decent gun. This thing can probably take a few hits. Meanwhile, if you've got something kind of like the opposite, you kind of want to stay back and use mobility. For example, the 3001D, which I'll get to in a few more videos. It's fast, but it doesn't have very good armor. It's got a decent gun. You want to use it more as a turn and burn sniper type of a tank. So it really does depend on your playstyle whether or not you should get the Jumbo. The American medium tech tree actually does lead to a very, very decent payoff with the T20, the Pershing, the M46 Patton, and eventually the M48 patent. So yeah, it just depends on if you want to go down this tech tree. If you've had the M4, you can actually kind of branch off with the E2. You can also get the T29, T32, M103, and eventually the M110E5, or T110E5. And so personally, I would get the Jumbo rather than the E8. Just my play style. You get the same gun as the E8, same turret, better armor, not as good in mobility, but it still allows you to go down the medium tank path and the heavy tank path. So overall, I would get the E2. That's just my preference. But the journey up to the M4 is very tough, especially considering this thing. But if you want to see the M3 Lee and what I have to say about it, leave a comment. So yeah, I hope you're having a good day. Always angle, drive safe, and check your map.